Path Media. I was a minimum wage movie theater usher that made good and became a top earner in my network marketing company. Now, after 16 plus years in the profession, I'm finally teaching myself how to leverage the internet with online marketing and social media marketing to continue to grow and expand my business. My name is Ronnie Cruz, and this is Path of the Network Marketer.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about 3 things that will help vastly improve your social media strategies. That's right. We're going to continue this conversation on social media. Yesterday, we talked about 3 reasons why your social media isn't working. Today, we're going to talk about 3 things that will help improve your social media. Okay, so before we get into all that, I want to remind you, like we did yesterday, if you're not already part of our Facebook community, come join us. Lots more content on there that's not necessarily available here on the show. Also, it's a place where you can get support, right? Like that's the whole reason for the community. That's my intention and my goal for that community is a place where we can support each other on our entrepreneurial journeys. So you can check it out, facebook.com/groups/path of the network marketer. Okay, so the next thing is, before jumping into the content of today's episode, is I want to give a shout out and recognize a couple of individuals and shows that have inspired our episode here today. The first one is Brendon Burchard from his show Marketing with Brendon Burchard, December 8th episode. The next individual is Jasmine Star of the Jasmine Star Show from November 22nd. And then the last one is Jenna Kutcher. Jenna Kutcher, actually, I just recently went through her her training. She just did a free training on Instagram. Now, it's an amazing training. It's absolutely free. And of course, you can, she offers a paid version that's more in depth and it's got a lot more meat and potatoes to it. But the free training is great on its own, right? There's so much value. And that's one of the reasons why I love Jenna. Like, she gives so much value, whether it's free, whether it's paid. You're always going to be able to get something from her content and from her trainings. And I just went through that training, that Instagram training, and I learned so much just from the free training. So I'll leave a link to all of this stuff in the show notes of this episode, for Brendon, for Jasmine, and for Jenna's free Instagram training course. Okay. All right, so getting into the meat and potatoes of the episode here for the topic. 3 things that you can implement immediately that will help vastly improve your social media strategy. Number 1, clean up your bio/profile. All right. Seems like a no-brainer, but I think we're all guilty of this. I know I'm guilty of this. I'm actually in the process of massively overhauling all my social media profiles and bios, because here's the thing. You can create some of the best content in the world and it's engaging. You're getting a lot of views. You're getting a lot of likes. But if you look at your following and your audience, if it's not growing, then chances are it's because of your bio. Right. That's the first thing that people look at after they catch your amazing piece of content that you publish. They look at your bio, and if your bio doesn't communicate something that they'd be interested in, then they're just going to keep scrolling and they're going to forget about you, and then you lose a potential audience member. You lose a potential follower. So here's the tips that you can do to make that a better experience for people. Number 1, put a profile pic that is of you, at least of a human being, and generally, if we can see your face clearly, that works out a lot better, right? That works out a lot better. One of my pet peeves over the years is that I use social media primarily to connect with people, at least in the past, right? And inevitably, like I would find somebody that's either commented or we're having an interaction on the feed, and I click on their profile, and I see a picture of their, grandchild, or there's a picture on their profile. It's just their car, right? Like, to me, it's like, man, I don't want to connect with a car. I don't want to connect with a baby. As cool as those things are, the point is, if you're using social media to build your business, it can't be about those personal things. If you're using, social media for your personal life and staying connected with, your friends and family who happen to live across the country, that's fine. But we're talking about using social media for your business. And so your profile pic has to be a human, and it should be you, right? It should be your face. Again, I'm super guilty of this. And even though it's one of my pet peeves, my TikTok profile pic right now is of my dog. So I have to change it. Again, I'm working on it, guys. I'm a work in progress. So vastly trying to improve my social media presence. All right. So the other thing you can do then, of course, is create a bio that's more succinct and that's more accurate to who you are and what you do, right? You want to be really specific about what you do so that when people click on your profile, they know exactly what you're offering, and that way they can select themselves into being part of your audience, right? Again, if it just says long walks on the beach and red wines on Thursdays, that doesn't communicate anything, right? That doesn't communicate anything as far as what you're offering. And so like, okay, that's all they do. This is just a a personal profile where they're sharing their life. I'm not necessarily going to follow it because that has no value to my feed, adds no value to my feed. So get really specific about what you do in your bio. Again, this is kind of that gateway, one of the first gateways that people get to, and if it's not honed in, if it's not refined, then it's actually going to be a closed gate, right? You want to be as open a gate as possible so that people can select themselves into being part of your audience. Okay, so number 2, pick a publishing schedule that works for you. Right. And this is really, this speaks to, again, shifting that mindset from using social media as a personal account to communicate and stay in contact with friends and family, to using social media as a way to grow your business. Right. You really have to be methodical. You really have to create a structure for your publishing. And if you can, I encourage you to publish something every day. Right. There's a vast ocean of content that's being published every day. And if you're not publishing with a level of frequency that's going to allow you to make a splash, you're going to have a really hard time, and it's going to be a really slow growth curve for you on social media. I understand if you're busy and if you can't manage every day, but at the very least, you have to be consistent with your structure. So creating the structure is very important. If it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, make it Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 5 years, right? Like make it non-negotiable. Do not stray from that, right? It's got to be consistent. It's got to be regular. So that way your audience can expect it and will continue to follow. Beyond that, as far as structure, is setting aside a time to actually create that content, right? Like this, I know, like for me, I have a pretty different situation than most people. Like this is pretty much all I do right now, right? Because I don't have a day job. I understand that that's not the case for a lot of you listening. So you have to find that time in your day that you can dedicate to your social media. And I actually tell this to anybody that joins my team as a network marketer. When you join network marketing, you have to set aside time for your business, right? Because most people that come into network marketing already have, a 9 to 5 or really a 8 to 6, and then they have family obligations, they have kids, they have all kinds of things going on in their lives. And so if you don't set aside a time in your day specifically just for your network marketing business, then you're never going to get anything done, right? So set aside that time in your day for your network marketing business, and then split some of that time to your social media, right? If you have an hour a day, during the work week for your network marketing business, do a half hour for social media, half hour of that hour for social media, right? Whatever it might be. But again, you got to figure out that structure for you so that you can stay consistent and that you can publish at a frequent rate, right? Okay, so that's number 2. Number 1, provide value. Simple as that. Again, it's that mindset shift, moving from using socials for personal use and staying in contact with friends and family to using it to grow your business, right? You got to provide value. You got to give reason to tune in, number 1, and to stay plugged in, number 2. Now, you might be asking, okay, so what kind of value should I post? Well, you just present the stuff that right? Like I would wager to say you have some level of knowledge and expertise on the particular products or services that your company has to offer, right? Like that's what makes you an independent distributor for that company. And so, yeah, just share that, right? Just share some of that stuff. Share what it's done for you. Like I think I talked about that in the last episode. Share what the products and services of your company has done for you. how it's changed and improved your life, your family's lives, the impact that it's made, right, in your community, whatever the situation. But you can share this thing, and that can be of value to you, to your audience. Now, you might be asking, well, what if I'm brand new, right? Like, what if I don't know that much? Here's the thing. You do, and you know a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for. And this is why I referenced Jasmine Star earlier, because she said in that episode, she gave a really great perspective on, feeling that you're not necessarily an expert yet on whatever it is that you're sharing, and therefore you have no value on the social feeds. Jasmine illustrated it this way. Think about it as in terms of when you're creating content, when you're publishing online and social media. Talk to a version of you from 12 months ago. Because chances are, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're building a business, where you are today is different than where you were 12 months ago. I would wager to say that you've learned a lot since 12 months ago, right? You've learned a lot in the last 12 months. So if you just picture the content, as you're creating your content, if you picture that you're talking to that 12-month ago version of you, then you will know things now, and you'll be able to share things that you know now that you didn't know from 12 months ago. Another example is like for me, just on this 100-day journey, right? The 100 days of podcasting, I know a lot more now than when I started from day one. So I can share things that I know today that I didn't know when I was recording day one, right? So think about it in that way, and then realize that wherever you were 12 months ago, there are people that were in that are in that same position. So you have value to bring to the table. You have an expertise and authority to bring to the table. You're just not giving yourself enough credit for that. So shift that mindset from using social media for personal use and just sharing what you're doing at this moment. That can be part of it too, right? Like share whatever you're comfortable sharing about your life and the things that you're experiencing, but also share it in a way that provides value to your followers, right? Give them something that will give them reasons to continue to engage with your content. And really, when you think about it from a value standpoint, I talked about value ladder already, right? When you think about it from a value ladder standpoint, that's really what's going to help you grow your business and improve your social media strategies, improve your engagement, improve your following. So those are the three things. Number one, clean up your bio/profile. Number two, pick a publishing schedule that works for you. Create a structure that works for you. And number three, provide value. Continue to provide value as much as you can on your social feeds, and you'll be able to grow your following, engage with your audience, and it's going to translate to more growth for your network marketing business. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you tomorrow with a fresh new episode. Until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.